Welcome to Motivate You, the Win Circle. I'm your host, June Archer, and today, my next guest nominated for 2 Grammy Awards this year for his album Restoration. Also, his single Sunday Morning featuring Franklin is also nominated. He is a singer, songwriter, producer, actor. Please welcome to the show, Christian gospel hip hop artist Lecrae. Lecrae, welcome to the show. How you doing today, brother?
All is well, man. Appreciate the opportunity.
I am excited to interview you. Reading your story, I've been super inspired. I want to go back to the humble days when growing up with your grandmother and learning the foundation, walking around with your Bible, doing things you had no business doing, but you brought that and you clutched that purposefully because you knew that it would protect you. I want to talk about inspiration from your grandmother being a part of your journey from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my grandmother was like the matriarch of the family. She found her faith, later on in life and got real passionate about it. It didn't really stick with a lot of her kids, but the next generation, we all kind of like listened to her and and saw her actions. She wasn't really like the type of person that's gonna preach to you a whole lot, but she's just gonna show you, by her actions. And I think that's really what I saw growing up was her actions and how consistent she was. And like the whole neighborhood would come to the house like to be fed, or she had clothes for people, or she would take me, to different places in different, communities where it's like, our community wasn't the best, but it was worse ones too. And we would go there and I just saw like, man, she's serious, you know what I mean? And always faithful in church. She gonna sing, she gonna clap, do all that jazz. Love her some Al Green, you know what I mean? Playing Al Green all the time. And so she's still alive, 93 years old. And she
Wow.
always, yeah, she be on Facebook and all that, sending me messages and stuff like that. So still asking.
I'm gonna have to friend. I'm gonna have to friend grandma.
Yeah,
Like I need some of that inspiration in my life. Did you
yeah.
get your musical gift from your grandmother? It was your mom, your dad. Like, where did you get this musical talent from to really fall in love with music?
Yeah, I think, my mom and my grandmother, they love music. And music was always playing in the house. Um, I think the talent came from my dad, which I just met him like 2 years ago, but I know that's where the talent comes from. Like he's really talented. He can sing. And but yeah, I just grew up around music. My mom was constantly playing music, constantly sweeping, cleaning, music playing in the background. And she was schizophrenic with it, old school, like Stevie Wonder, Snoop Dogg is just like everything.
Every weekend, every
Yeah.
weekend. Now, I did read that dad wasn't a part of your formative years, and you're just saying you just had contact with him over the past years. Lecrae, for you, who were the men that were in your life, that were part of your village, that allowed you, good, bad, or indifferent, to be the man that you become right now in the space of being a gospel artist?
Yeah. For me, it wasn't like anybody that led me down the path I'm necessarily on. Initially, it was my uncles, and then my uncles, they were like hustlers or just like, they just ran the streets in different ways. So, I love hanging out with them. They were like my dad to me, but obviously they was caught up in a lot of stuff they shouldn't have been caught up in, but they still spent a lot of time with me. So it was like, I was glad to get that investment. Um, and I probably picked up some stuff I shouldn't have picked up from them, but I wouldn't have my, my demeanor, my swag, my style. I get
Right.
that from them. You know what I mean? So that's what makes me effective, even in the Christian realm. It's like I really was connected to people running in the streets like that, and I really am a part of that fabric. So I'm not faking it. It's not like a church kid trying to be cool. It's like I really come from that. So, But then as I got older, I saw this group, you know, I had like a spiritual transformation, and I saw this group from Philly called Cross Movement. And I didn't know you could like rap and really be like, you know what I mean, like hip hop culture, but then like talk about God. I never saw that before. So seeing them, it's like, you know, 2000s era throwbacks, big leather jackets, Pele Pele, and you know, but like when they spit, it was like all
Fire.
God. Yeah. So it was like, wow, you know, that really did a work in me. You know what I mean?
And you lost your footing at some point, and a friend of yours invited you to church where you met your spouse.
Yeah.
Talk about how, because I think people often overlook that there are angels, there are road signs, there are street signs along our journey. If we just pay attention, Lecrae, pay attention and are willing to let go of pride and ego. How important is it? Let's say you didn't read that road sign and you didn't go to church that day. You know, how important is it for us to take time out to say, you know what, let me slow down, let me put pride and ego aside and pay attention to what's ahead of me right now.
Man, it's extremely important. I think I think too often we ignore the signs, and I know too many people who wish they could go back. You know, how many times in your life have you been like, man, if I just woulda, if I only woulda? And I think that's a big piece of it. Obviously, you know, I think specifically about friends I have, family I have that's incarcerated. And if you ask them, it's like, man, they made a decision in 60 seconds that cost them 15 years. You know, and it's like, man, if you would have read the signs, how much different would your life have been? You know what I mean? Like if you would have, you something hit you and was like, don't do that, or go here, or don't go there, but you ignored it. And I feel like, man, there was so many of them opportunities that popped up in my life that I said, all right, I'm gonna take heed. And I think it's crucial for us to just take heed to those signs and those symbols, because you know they lead to us becoming the people that we were created to be.
And you're an advocate of reform. I want to talk specifically to your prison ministries program. Talk about that. Tell us why you were even inspired to do that. You did say you had uncles and so and such that got caught up in the system. Yourself
Yeah.
almost find yourself in the system. You are now working with your prison ministries program. What was the inspiration behind that?
I mean, yeah, a lot of it is like, you know, just growing up, I think I was just infatuated with that lifestyle. And like when my uncle got locked up and I went to go visit him, I don't think I saw it as a negative thing. I think I saw it as positive. And it was like, oh, I need to earn my stripes too. And so that was the kind of backwards mentality that I had, that a lot of young guys have, and they get caught in the system, and that's when they grow up, and that's when their mind frame changes, but it's already too late. And the sad part about it is a lot of folks, you know, aren't given any guidance to them, so when they get out they don't know, like, it's not, what steps do I take? So I just wanted to insert myself, specifically like detention centers, juvenile detention centers, and then like the prison system, where I can give people access and information. So right now, what we're working on is a curriculum that teaches financial literacy. So when it's individuals who like about to get out in the next 6 to 12 months, understand what to do with their money. I got a good friend of mine who just was locked up for 20 years, you know, unjustly, and now he's free. And just him detailing some of the struggles that's taking him to understand like how to manage money and how to deal with, you know, getting acclimated on the other side. So I just want to insert myself into that, because I realized how backwards of a mindset I had at one point in time, and I want to help other people who got trapped.
And how important is it for you specifically that we need more positive role models out there? In 2013, you partnered with NBA legend Dwyane to create "This Is Fatherhood"
Yeah.
campaign. How important is it for us to put out there positive role models and images of men of color, specifically first? You know, we've been through Trayvon Martin, we've been through Mike Brown, we've recently been through George Floyd, and everything in between.
Yeah.
How important is it now that we start to stand up and give our young people, not just our young men of color,
Yeah.
but our young women of color as well, those positive role models and images in our communities?
I think it's extremely important. You know, we're we're hungry right now. You know, we're hungry for leadership. We're hungry for guidance. And the good part about it is that we see the best in people, but the bad part about it is we accept mediocrity too. So it's like it's dope that we can see an individual who doesn't have it all together and they, you know, not quite the leader they should be, and we see the best in them and we embrace them. But at the same time, we also should have a desire to see us become better than we are. And I think if you don't see it, you can't become it. You know, you're gonna be what you've seen, you're gonna become what you behold. And so I'm just trying to be something that people can see. You know, I don't have it, I haven't figured it out, but I know I'm a half a step ahead of a lot of other people. And that's all I have to be, is a half a step ahead, so that, like you said, young men, young women can see that and say, all right, there is somebody, you know.
Now, do you find yourself to be more religious or more spiritual, or do you kind of combine the both? Because there are people who say, "Well, I don't go to church. I'm spiritual than churchy." For you, for the person who's looking to connect with something right now, whether COVID has hit them, whether they've lost a loved one, a parent, due to old age or sickness, lost a child, lost their job, going through something. What do you believe someone should hold on to if they don't fully believe, if that makes sense to you?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think, you know, we're all on a journey, and I think God is patient and he walks with us on that journey. But like, are we investigating? Are we in the middle of that journey, like asking for guidance and wisdom? You know what I mean? I think he's faithful to give it to us. And for some folks, it's gonna, for them, they're gonna land the plane in, like, you know, a real rigid institution or something like that, like, you know, following the rules or going to a very rigid church or whatever. And if that helps them to become a better version of them, then cool. I personally have found that, you know, religion is a lot about following rules in order to be accepted. I'm bigger on relationship. I want a relationship with God where it's not a duty, but it's a desire. I'm excited to pray. I'm excited to study. I'm excited to love people, you know, and treat them as I want to be treated. I don't do that so that I'll be embraced or accepted by God. You know, that's religion to me. You know, I got to follow all these rules. And so it's like any relationship. You know, I wouldn't want my kid to come home, you know, from college or something and say, "Hey, what's going on, Dad? I just came by because that's what I guess I'm supposed to do." I'm like, "Well, you stay in school then." You know what I mean? Like,
You don't need to come see me.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how God is. It's like, don't come around on some like, I'm supposed to do this, let me just do this. It's like, nah, develop a relationship with me so that you desire to do these things. And that's what I would tell people, is like, you're in a dark place. I think just be honest about it and say, yo, if there's a God out there, can you reveal yourself? Can you help me? Can you give me some guidance? I don't know what this looks like. And I think he's faithful to help out.
You had the honor of receiving an honorary doctorate from the Canada Christian College, a doctorate of music. Congratulations for that. For you, what was that day like? What was that moment like to be able to receive that honor?
It was wild. Yeah, man, it was wild because I just did, you know, you do it from the heart, you do it for the love, and you don't expect these types of moments to happen. And it's crazy because, you know, obviously I believe like following God, like anything's possible, like anything's possible. But at the same time, it's just wild to believe that this art form that I saw on TV, you know, when I was watching like Rap City and rap videos, has carried me to a place where I can get a doctorate, an honorary doctorate. You know what I mean? It's just wild to me that talking about my relationship with God in hip hop has opened up these doors. That's wild to me, and I'm just grateful.
Besides the rapper getting the award and saying, "Well, I just want to shout out God. If it wasn't for God, God, that I'm getting this award." Where do hip hop and God intersect? Without having the, oh, well, praise be to God when you're on stage and we can see it because it sounds good, right? That's what
Yeah.
you're supposed to say,
Right.
right? But where do we meet? For those who are like, well, I'm hip hop. I don't know, like I
Yeah.
curse, I use this word, I use, right? Understanding that God knows that we have imperfections, but
Right.
from your perspective, you are the practitioner of your field and do it the best that you do it. But hearing it from you, I want somebody who's listening to it say, well, man, I listen to 50, I listen to Jay. It's contradictory. What do you say to
Yeah.
the person?
I will say, you know, again, it's about the relationship. It's developing a relationship. And if you neglect the relationship, obviously there's going to be less insight, less guidance, less understanding. But when you really invest in a relationship, it's better. So I guess when I think about hip hop, I think about hip hop has always been known for talking about the social and the science. You know, what's happening in society and what's the mathematics, you know what I mean, the science. And the spiritual really wasn't like, you know, on the forefront. So now I feel like it's okay to talk about the spiritual. Let's just be honest about it. You know, let's be sincere. This is a place where we talk about everything. So let's talk about the spiritual. Um, and if you're gonna talk about it, like be real and be honest. I imagine if King David was alive today, he'd be locked up for murder. You know, he a lot of crazy stuff, but he had a sincere, real heart to say, God, I know I'm wrong. Like, hear me, see me. And I feel like God works with that sincerity and that authenticity. So if you walk straddling the line, like be real about it. Don't pretend and be honest about it. You know, and if you like don't believe, don't shun somebody who does believe. Like
Mhm.
have a dialogue, you know, talk about it.
I want to talk about this new album or the late album, Restoration.
Yeah.
Nominated for 2 Grammys. You've already won two, a ton of Dove Awards, right? Um, Best Gospel Album, Gravity, um, BET Awards in 2013, 2015, 8-time Dove Award winner. What motivates you, Lecrae? At this point, what continues to motivate you to make good music?
You know, part one is like I know people need it. You know, there's always somebody who needs it. And I think you can compare yourself. Like if I sit around and I compare myself to Drake, I say, well, what's the point of me doing this? I'll never be that big. But guess what? It may be 2,000 people that I connect with at a show versus his 20,000 people. But those 2,000 people still needed a voice. You know what I mean? And so it's like somebody always needs to hear what you got to say. Somebody always needs to be inspired. And I think we look at it like, well, if it's not this many people, it doesn't matter. If it's not this much money, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, it's like, nah, it always matters. It always matters. So I just want to continue to create good art that inspires people. And until the day I can't do that, then you know, I'll find another way to communicate or inspire people.
You have been an advocate for racial injustice and bridging the racial divide in America. How did you find yourself in front of that movement?
Because we're really like, I grew up. My mom was an activist, and so I grew up like reading and listening to her stories, and like she was like Angela Davis and Malcolm X, W.B. Du Bois, like all that stuff was like embedded in me as a kid. So coming into the faith, you know, I think people expected me to like put all that stuff aside. But the truth of the matter is that I had a knowledge of my culture and my history. And the church is a very segregated and divided place. And so if people are saying y'all over here talking about God and love, but when it comes to racial issues, y'all are a disaster. Well, for me, I'm like, we can't be trying to step into the solution if we don't have it together ourselves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, if I'm supposed to be a beacon of light and love, then I gotta step in these places and create that same energy.
Is there a Bible verse that you lean on in times of, man, I'm tired, man, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna look like, man, this record business thing is crazy, man, I didn't get nominated for this award when I really felt like I deserved it? A Bible verse, Lecrae, that you could share with us, for anybody who's like, you know what, I could use that. I'll put it in my back pocket for those moments.
Yeah, I look at Ephesians 2:10. It says you're God's workmanship, created for the things that He's already planned for you.
Mm.
And what that does for me is it reminds me I'm God's workmanship. You know, workmanship in the original language is is poema. It's where we get the word poem. So I'm God's poetry. You know, when you talk about a poem, you're talking about the mind, the heart of an individual. So I'm a reflection of His creativity, and my life is what He's already pre-planned. So, like, He's got plans for me. You can't stop God's plans for me. The haters, the drama, the circumstances can't stop. If I get locked up today, that situation can't stop God's plans for me. If he wants me to do something, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, it was written. So, you know, on a positive end, I'm not like I don't believe God's desire is like negative intentions for us. I believe his desire is always positive for us. You know what I mean? Like, He wants the best for us. It says goodness and mercy will pursue you all the days of your life. So I believe that He's got these good intentions for me. So whatever comes my way, it's all good, because all things are gonna work together. I'm His workmanship, created for things He planned.
Now, is there a misconception with you being a Christian gospel rap artist and our traditional what would be as hip hop artists? Because there maybe some people say, well, what is really a Christian hip hop art? Like, is the difference? So for those who not really in the know, like, what is the biggest difference you see, or the misinterpretation that people get when that title Christian hip hop artist is said?
I think honestly, people just don't like their meat and potatoes touching. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's really what it comes down to. It's like
I like that. I like that.
That's it's really like a category that people create because it makes them feel. It's like, I feel like I know what I'm getting when I do it like this. So we do that. You know what I mean? It's like we categorize stuff because it makes it easier for us to figure out what we're looking for. You know what I mean? It's like, is a tennis shoe, you got a Jordan and an Adidas or whatever. It's like some of them are basketball shoes, some of them are tennis shoes. You know, you want a sneaker, period. But it's like, what particular type are you looking for? And, you know, I think hip hop has these different categories, like, oh, it's conscious rap or whatever. But I think when it comes to like faith, that's like, I don't want that touching my other stuff. You know what I mean? It's like that can't
put that over here.
Yeah. So I think that's just the way people like it. But I feel like the skill set is the same. The nuts and bolts is the same. That the technique and the craft is the same. It's the content is different.
Are you a true hip hop head?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I grew up on hip hop, so I'm really part of it. It's just that, you know, I had a spiritual transition. So like, I'm gonna talk about this. You know what I mean? You know, it's like I'm gonna incorporate my lingo and my perspective into this craft.
I want to go back to Restoration. Came out last year during the pandemic. What was the inspiration behind Restoration?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like people didn't have a place to heal, and I still see that. You know, people don't have a place to heal, and to be honest, like, you know, I remember hearing Jay-Z do an interview where he was like, he wasn't free to let people know who he really was. You know, you see a dude on the street, you're not smiling at him and, hey man, and today's such a good day, man. It's like, I can't let you see that side of me. Or if I'm sad, I'm brokenhearted, I can't sit and cry in front of you. You know, in prison, people cry when the lights are out. You can't show that form of weakness. And I thought that was sad. so I wanted to create an album that gave people permission to heal, that gave people permission to experience their trauma and their pain, and to become a better version of themselves. You know, by me putting my stuff out there, I think it helps other people.
Each track is obviously art for you. It is one of your babies. It is, and I mean this respectfully, it's going to be hard to your favorite. But if someone wanted to kind of find out who Lecrae was, to find out if he could really get busy in this art form, and they're just touching this album first time, put the needle or press play on what track number that will best summarize Restoration and Lecrae.
That's good. I'm gonna probably have to run with I think it's gonna be that's tough because there's so many categories.
Come on now. Hey, listen, it's a real question though. They have one shot. They got one shot to figure out.
I think it's if for somebody to really know me, I feel like it's Deep End. You know, I feel like Deep End speaks to everything that was going on because what it does is I'm rapping. You get the creativity, you get the spiritual side of me, but then you get the social, cultural side of me as well because you know addressing stuff that happened with George Floyd as well, like all of it. Like you get a full picture of who I am on Deep End.
Okay. All right. So you're a true hip hop head. I've been playing this game with a lot of celebrities. It's called University of Dope. So we're gonna do the. I'm not gonna call it the gospel version of it because that to me isn't like the way to do it. But we're gonna play this game called University of Dope with Lecrae.
All right.
Unpopular opinions are welcome.
All right.
Fun. We having a great time. So the question here, Lecrae, if someone wanted to experience hip hop for the first time, what album would you give them? A, The Low End Theory, A Tribe Called Quest. B, Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, the Wu-Tang Clan. C, Straight Outta Compton, NWA. Or D, Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm gonna choose, and it's unpopular because all of them are good. All of them are respectful in their own way. But I'm gonna give you B, Enter the Wu-Tang, and the reason why is because you get to experience so many different MCs and their different capabilities and styles, and yeah, I think, and it's unorthodox, and you know they're legendary. All of them are legends on that list, but that's what I'm gonna give you.
All right. You're stranded on a deserted island. Which album would you listen to? A, Black on Both Sides, Most Def. B, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. C, 3 Feet High Rising, De La Soul. Or D, The Chronic, Dr. Dre.
It's too easy. My favorite artist in the world is Miss Lauryn Hill.
All right.
Too easy. I can listen to that all day long.
If these four MCs were on the same track today, who would come out on top? LL Cool J, B, Rakim, C, KRS-One, or D, Big Daddy Kane?
All right. So all of them are legendary. I think in terms of relevance, like who's probably gonna have the most relevant flow right now, I'm sure to be LL. But all the greatest MCs, not all, but most of your favorites were inspired by Big Daddy Kane. He got a lot of kids running around, so I'm gonna give it to Kane.
All right. Which crew would you choose as teammates on Family Feud? Would it be A, Dipset, B, Cash Money, C, G Unit, or D, Rough Riders?
I would. That's tough. On Family Feud. Oh man, that's tough. I know we on This Is 50, but I'm not gonna be that guy and say G Unit because of that. I'm gonna say Dipset because I just, you know, I love the energy that they bring. They just bring a certain energy.
All right, respect that. Reinstate one back into hip hop. Would it be? Who would you bring back, Lecrae? A, Guru, B. Nipsey Hussle, C. Nate Dogg, or Big Pun?
Man, we should have never lost Nip. You know what I mean? I would bring him back immediately so he can experience what people have said and how they've been inspired by him. I think he needed to see that.
All right. Best hip hop soundtrack: A. Get Rich or Die Trying, B. Above the Rim, C. 8 Mile, or D. Juice?
I'll whoop your head, boy. I'm probably gonna go and Get Rich or Die Trying. To be honest with you, that was a hard soundtrack.
All right. We get into the nitty gritty. Erase one person from hip hop history. Who would it be? A. Curtis Blow, B. EPMD, C. Kumo D, or D. Slick Rick?
Yikes! I'm just going off personal preference. I'm not even gonna talk about their contributions, but I'm gonna get rid of Curtis Blow.
All right.
Yeah.
One gotta go. Who would it be? A. J. Cole, B. Drake, C. Kendrick Lamar, or D. Childish Gambino?
Man. Personal preference again. I'm as far as rap is concerned, I'm gonna get rid of Childish.
All right.
Yeah.
One gotta go. Did A. Black Thought, B. Mos Def, C. Common, or D. Talib Kweli?
That's impossible. That's impossible. That's a crazy. That question gotta go. That's ridiculous. That's craziness right there. That don't even make sense.
If you had to choose,
man,
unpopular opinion is
that sucks. I guess I'm gonna get rid of Talib. I don't know, man. That's rough.
If you had to erase one from hip hop history, would it be A. Queen Latifah, B. MC Lyte, C. Lauryn Hill, or D. Missy Elliott? No, who you're not getting rid of.
Who came with these questions? This is crazy. All right, man. Shoot. You know what? I mean, personal preference. I'm gonna get rid of MC Lyte. She's just a little before my time. I'm sure she's a legend, but I'm gonna get rid of MC Lyte.
All right. The most influential rap song of all time, is it A. The Message, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, B. Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang, C. Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sound Force, or D. Sucker MCs, Run DMC?
All right, so we all know that Rapper's Delight was like groundbreaking, but I felt like it was a little bit pop disco kind of mixed in. So when I think of like hip hop rap, I'm gonna go with The Message because it was that gritty, that told of what's going on in the community type of joint.
I respect your hip hop. I respect your hip hop.
Yeah.
Who is winning in a jailhouse brawl? Is it A. The Brat, B. Ma, C. Young and May, or D. Foxy Brown?
Remy already showed you what she was about, man.
She could throw them paws. She could throw them paws.
Remy told you and showed you what it's about.
The best song dedicated to your moms is A. Miss Jackson, Outkast, B. Hey Mama, Kanye West, C. All I Got Is You, Ghostface Killer, or D. Dear Mama, Pop?
True story. When I got married, me and my mom danced to Dear Mama by Tupac. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's dope. Best Thug collaboration, is it A. Always on Time, Ja Rule featuring Ashanti, B. You're All I Need, The Man featuring Mary J. Blige, C. Dilemma, Nelly featuring Kelly Rowland, or D. Best of Me, the remix, Maya featuring Jay-Z?
That remix is really dope, but we all know there's only one right answer, and that's B. Method Man and Mary J.
All right. Stay Woke, best politically conscious song, is it A. Fight the Power, Enemy, B. F the Police, NWA, C. Hip Hop, Dead Prez, or D. Umi Says by Mos Def, Jan Berry?
Man, that's tough too. I'm gonna go with I mean, for me personally, I loved Hip Hop by Dead Prez. That one did it for me. Yeah.
All right. Erase one person from hip hop history. Would it be A. Swiss Beats, D. Dre, C. Pharrell, or D. Timbaland?
Dang, y'all wilding with these questions. I'm gonna get rid of Swiss. Swiss gotta go, man. I mean, the other three are phenomenal. I'm gonna just get rid of Swiss.
And last one, Lecrae. If you had to erase one person from hip hop history, be A, Nas, B, the Notorious B.I.G., C, Tupac, or D, Jay-Z?
This is crazy. Y'all already erased two of them from hip hop history, physically, but y'all wilding right now with this question, man. Y'all killing me. If I had to erase one person, so they never existed.
They never existed.
They never existed.
Everything they came with, gone.
If I get rid of Pac, I never existed.
Wow.
Man, I'm a sheesh. I'm gonna say, I guess I gotta say Nas. I gotta say Nas. It's crazy.
The game is called University of Dope. You can pick it up at universityofdope.com. Lecrae, thank you for playing that with me. It's all fun.
I gotta get that game.
Unpopular opinions are welcome. Definitely get your information. We're gonna make sure you get one. You've been doing this a long time, brother. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to have the opportunity to sit down and rap with you for a few moments. For those who are going through hard times right now, is there a word of encouragement? Maybe something that you got from your grandmother. We talked about your grandmother. We talked about the love for your moms, uncles along the way, even your wife. Someone that is looking for the light end of the tunnel today and just needs a word of encouragement. Something that you could share with them that has been given, which you could pass on. What would that be?
Yeah, something that was shared with me is like, I was told, like, if you had a little jar and someone had a handful of rocks and they say, you think these rocks can fill up the jar? You say, sure. They put the rocks in the jar's to the brim with rocks. And they say, is the jar full? You say, yeah, it's full. They say, I got a handful of gravel. They put the gravel in there, you shake it up, it fills in there some of those cracks. They say, is the jar full? They say, yeah, the jar's definitely full. They say, nah. They get some sand. They put the sand in there and the sand fills up all the cracks. And they're like, now the jar's full. But the thing about it is, if you put the sand in first and then put the gravel in, you ain't gonna have no room for the rocks. So what I would say is, we get caught up in the sand and the gravel, the little things in life. And if we focus on them, we don't have any room for the things that really matter. Your family, your faith, those are the things that really matter. So focus on those. The gravel and the sand will take care of itself. Just focus on the things that really matter and don't get caught up in the little stuff.
That's dope. That's really dope. I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Music is a soundtrack to our lives. And you are obviously one who provides that soundtrack for us. For you, what is a song that best represents your journey up to this point? What artist embodies your journey up to this point that you listen to or you put on to give or get inspiration, get momentum, get motivation for whatever it is that you seek to do today, tomorrow, this week, rest of this year? What does that song look like? Or who is that artist?
I think it's the whole Equipment Eye project by Outkast. And it's because I feel like they both represent a part of who I am. You got one part who is, dealing with the streets and the flashy stuff in the industry. Then you got another who's trying to on a search and a quest for spirituality and truth and wisdom. But they work together, and that's what makes it special, is that journey of you working together with who you were and how you were created versus who you're gonna be. And I think that's just the journey is learning, how who you were and who you're gonna be work together in the meantime.
Where can we find you? Where can we follow you? And what's next? We're gonna be rooting for you for these Grammys. But what's next for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, I'm working on a mixtape, Church Clothes Volume 4. So you'll see that in the future. And then yeah, I mean, that's really it. I'm in the studio just working on that, a couple other projects on the side. I'm trying to be like 50, work on some film stuff, as well. So we'll see what happens.
Listen, you heard it here. Church Clothes, the project. That's coming.
Yes, indeed.
Restoration is out. Nominated. Pay attention to the roadsides along the way. You never know who's going to be a blessing along your journey. Don't allow pride and ego to get in the way of blocking your blessings.
Hmm.
You are responsible for that. And any opportunity that you have, remember, Cray said it, give back. Find some young people that you can pour into. He's in the prison systems, prison ministry. He's giving back. He's showing love. He's been there. He's walking the walk. He's talking the talk. And he's in his inspiration for hip hop and giving us a different, spin on it based on the genre, but it's still the same. Message is still the same. Lecrae, we appreciate you. We love you, brother. God bless you. You haven't reached the apex yet. And don't matter if it's 2,000 or 20,000, brother. You keep preaching, sharing your word, and spreading your message. God bless you, man. Listen, this is John from Motivate You, the One Circle here. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless you. Tell somebody you love them, and maybe last chance that you have the opportunity to do so. Like it, share it, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. Yeah, bro.